This book I held up for you before, Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, is the only astrology book to ever reach the bestseller list in the New York Times. And Linda, as I mentioned to you before, is a very, very popular lady. She's America's best known and most popular astrologer, and she's waiting for us in Denver, Colorado, not to be confused with Les Miserables. Please welcome Linda Goodman. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Welcome. I don't think we have any sound there. No, we can see Linda, but we can't hear her.
I can hear you.
Oh, I think we can hear you now. Just say something for us, Linda.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
hello. Can you hear me?
It's fine now.
Can you hear me?
That's great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Linda, as I've mentioned already on air, when we announced that you were going to be in the show, we've had literally hundreds of phone calls right around Australia from people who are so keen on your work. And I thought a good spot to start might be to explain to us exactly how astrology works.
How it works? Well, it begins at your birth. The birth is a miracle because this is a water-breathing creature suddenly becoming an air-breathing creature, and this is the miracle of birth. As medical science knows, tremendous physiological changes take place in the organism at the first breath. And at the first breath is when the over 40 billion electric cells in your brain are programmed like a computer in a pattern commensurate with the position of the planets at that instant. And so from that point on, under the law of magnetism, you respond as the planets move in the heavens.
So, therefore, for you to strut your stuff with anybody, all you need is their precise birth date. Is that right?
Yes, you need to know, if you're going to do a complete astrological reading, you need to know the latitude, the longitude, and the hour, the minute, and the second of birth. But you can tell a lot just by a solar chart, and you can also tell a lot by the sun sign alone.
Linda, we hear a lot about...
Not as much.
We hear a lot about the New Age. What exactly is that?
The age of Aquarius, the age of enlightenment, brotherhood, sudden changes, magic and miracles. It's the new age of Aquarius. It's going to be around for about 2,000 years, so you might as well get used to it.
Okay, look, we're still having a few problems there technically with the audio. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll get down to specifics and we'll give you some birth dates and talk about some famous people. Back with you after this break with Linda Goodman. Welcome back. Our special guest is Linda Goodman. She's in our studios in Denver, Colorado, and let's see if the force is with us. You still there, Linda?
Yes, I am.
Ah, that's so much better, so much better. You can hear me loud and clear?
Yes, can you hear me?
No. Yes, I can. Yes, I can, Linda. Linda, let's get down, as I say, to specifics and let's talk about some famous people. I know you have a particular interest in American presidents, so let's start off with the present president, George Bush. What sort of a man is he?
Well, George is a Gemini, and you have a person over there named Kevin, who's a Gemini. Geminis are two people, as you probably know, and President Bush is no exception. I found it interesting that all through his campaign he kept calling for a kinder and a gentler America. Now this is a man who belongs to the NRA, National Rifle Association. He is in favor of the death penalty by electric chair, and he goes out and hunts deer and quail. And I find that a strange, relationship to a kinder and gentler America. But perhaps it's his CIA background, and perhaps it's the fact that he's a Gemini. So will the real George Bush stand up?
What about the former president, Ronal Reagan?
Oh, Ronal Reagan is an Aquarian. Hello? Ronal Reagan is an Aquarian, and Aquarians are typically absent-minded professors. They have difficulty remembering the name of their wives. They have difficulty remembering their own telephone numbers because they're kind of a combination of genius and insanity, and they have dreadful memories. So when Reagan said he didn't remember signing the situation on the Contra thing, he wasn't lying. He was just being an Aquarian. He just didn't remember. And also Aquarians shock you, therefore change, sudden and unexpected. And we've had two other Aquarian presidents in this country, Abraham Lincoln and Franklin Roosevelt, and they both did that. You know, the people who backed Lincoln put him in and thought he would be tough on the South, but he pulled an Aquarian switcheroo and he became soft on the South. The big businessmen who put Franklin Roosevelt in thought he would be for the wealthy man. As soon as he got in office, he turned around and went for the Negro and the working man. Now, with Reagan, I kept thinking, when is President Reagan going to pull the big switcheroo? Because, of course, he was a Democrat until he married Nancy and became a Republican, so that was one big change. But right before he left office, I opened Time magazine, and there it was. The article about Reagan said, President Ronal Reagan, who has called Russia the evil empire, is now kissing babies in Red Square with Gorbachev. So we had another big changeover, this one for the better.
Okay, we've given you some dates, specific birth dates, but we haven't told you whose birthdays they are. So we'll try some locals now. The first date is December the 9th, 1929.
Is this a film star or a politician?
A politician. Oh, well, perhaps a little of both.
December what?
The 9th.
December the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is a Sagittarian with a Mars vibration. So he's, is it a man?
Yes.
Yes. He's enormously outspoken, very frank, very candid. He calls the shots as he sees them. He is not very tactful. He's tremendously outspoken, but quite honest to a fault. And he's idealistic. And sometime in his life, he's either been an atheist or wanted to join a monastery, because Sagittarians have this thing about religion. They search for truth all their lives. He's honest, he's blunt, he's direct, and certainly not an introvert. And he may have a dog or two or a horse because he loves animals, and he especially likes to defend the other underdog. But you have to watch out, because he will tell you exactly what he thinks, and he's a little bit like Mayor Koch in New York over here, just blurting out what he thinks before he counts to 10.
Okay, a very emotional man?
Yes, very emotional, very outspoken, and very fiery.
That's our Prime Minister, Bob Hawke. What about this date, July the 26th, 1939?
Well, the year doesn't do me any good. It's a Leo. This man is a man, right?
Yep.
He is a Leo. And did you say July 26th?
Yes.
All right. He's proud, somewhat arrogant. He feels that he's superior to other people, and in many ways he is. He's generous and benevolent, and he eats up compliments like sugar. And but he's a little more stable, a little more practical, and a little quieter than most lions, most Leos, because he is a 2, being born on the he's an 8, I'm sorry, on the 26th, he's an 8, so he has a Saturnine influence. So he may be a shy pussycat type Leo, but just try to usurp his authority and watch him roar, because he's quite proud, quite arrogant, and thinks that he knows better than anyone else how to run things, and usually he does. That's the exasperating part. He's a Leo.
Okay, that's our leader of the opposition, John Howard. Did you say, Linda, that the year is not important to you?
It's not important in what I'm talking to you about now, which is the sun sign.
Okay, fine.
I'd have to look at an ephemeris for the year to be important.
Okay, well, I'll give you another date. 23rd.
But I will...
Sorry?
I would like to say that these two gentlemen may be opposing one another, but essentially they're harmonious. In a sense, they are both idealists and they're both harmonious. They may be opposite each other, but they're not. They could never become abusive, because underneath it all, they understand one another.
Another one for you. This is the 23rd of July, 1954.
All right, this is another Leo. On the 23rd, gives him a 5 vibration in numerology. So this would be a Leo. who would be as proud and arrogant and generous and benevolent and so forth, loving, flattering compliments as all others. But because he's a 5, he would be involved in some way in communicating with others, communications. He would be quite adept in radio, television, newspaper, any of the communicating arts. And he's a good talker, very good talker, as well as being a proud lion. He's probably, well, he's impressive, he's glib, and he never runs out of something to say. Let's say he kissed the Barney Stone. He's a lion who kissed the Barney Stone.
If I can just take that one a little further, Linda, is it possible for you to look at lifelines and what that person can expect in the future? Do you cover ratings?
Are you speaking of palmistry or...
Well, just giving you... It's me, by the way, and I lied about 1954. I was actually born in 1938. That makes no difference.
That last lion.
Yes.
That last lion
yes.
was you. Well, oh, I see. So I still don't quite understand your question.
Well, I'm just wondering, you know, is it possible to just take me a step further into the future and perhaps let me know what's going to happen in the future?
Oh, yes, it's quite possible to do that. But the thing is, Bert, I would need more information, and I couldn't do it cold. I'd have to turn to the ephemeris and see. People think astrology is like psychic work. It isn't at all. It's an art and a science, and it's trigonometry. It takes time. Yes, you would be amazed at what can be found out when the astrologer knows your time of birth and the location and all that. But the sun sign alone is pretty accurate.
It's a fascinating interest, and as I've mentioned a couple of times, everyone, even the non-believers, are intrigued by astrology. Linda, thank you very much indeed for your time. It's been delightful being with you.
It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you, Bert.
Thank you, Linda. Linda Goodman in Denver, Colorado. Back with you after this break.